Welcome to Spoonful of Jelly. My name is Lauren, and today we are in the kitchen going through a normal day here at home. How are you guys been doing? I know it's been one heck of a week for our country here in the United States. Just concerned about those around. I have another hurricane on the horizon, and I bet by the time you guys see this, you have known that it is increasing in intensity. So, my prayers and thoughts go out to everyone. I even have some family friends that we are checking up on, and some family members we're trying to get out. So, if you guys are in the affected areas, our state was hit by Helene, just about an hour south of us. And so we are helping a local school. We are sending some goodies down there so that it can be distributed by some of the teachers. So I hope you guys are able to help out. On a typical morning for us, I try to serve a hot breakfast. I would say majority of the time. If it's a cold breakfast, it's usually because it's hot outside, such as yogurt, smoothies. So no, we don't do cereal here unless it's a special fun cereal. I might buy like cinnamon Cheerios or pumpkin spice Cheerios, but that's not a meal for us. That's usually like a side dish for breakfast or a dessert or something. So I just threw some I just threw some potatoes into the pan, and I'm getting a sweet potato chopped up. My husband is nightshade free, and if you follow along on our journey throughout the summer, you would have seen different ways that I have prepared sweet potatoes separate from potatoes, or have done dishes that typically require a nightshade, such as paprika, and how I leave that out. Have y'all ever cut a sweet potato? I know people like to buy them already cut up because you can lose a dang on finger with some sweet potatoes. So be careful out there, you guys. They are a very hard vegetable. Not as hard as rutabaga, which is not my favorite vegetable in the world, but you can lose a finger with that vegetable too. So I am going to get my husband's sweet potatoes all seasoned up, pretty much in the same type of seasoning that I did for the regular potatoes. There's some salt, Redmond's red salt is in there, garlic powder, that is cumin, salt, pepper, and a little dash of onion powder. I'm going to get another sweet potato chopped up, and I'm going to get that in the oven. Oh, here's some lard. I'm going to render down some lard pretty soon, so stick around for that video sometime at the end of October probably. And give it a little shaky shake and into the oven with some onions. So one of the main things I wanted to talk about today was our learning philosophy in our tiny little home. We are big opponents of teaching the respect for different cultures and religions. Not necessarily teaching my son that you have to believe what other people believe. You need to respect them for their beliefs. Respect them that they are eating the way they're eating because their country is situated in a particular part of the world, because they have fruits and vegetables we've never even seen or heard of, let alone taste. And so I'm reading a story that is a fable or a fairy tale about Vietnam. And it is a fun story because it is challenging children to think. Do you think forward? Do you think clearly? And do you predict your actions for the future? We have grown adults who can't even have foresight and think forward. And that's number two that we have at philosophy is using the whole brain as much as possible. It's not that impressive that you can read a grade or two ahead or that you can do math a grade or two ahead if you cannot think when you open your mouth, that you are so disrespectful or so greedy or arrogant that you cannot use that knowledge to help you plan and prep for the future or for a particular activity. And so this fairy tale allows for us to keep implementing this concept to my son. Stop, think, use your brain. How can you prepare for this situation? So now we're hitting right into mathematics. Mathematics is one of my favorite subjects. After all, I'm a tax accountant. But I wanted to make sure that my son not only knew how to do mathematics, but what is the understanding of the vocabulary that is used that makes math difficult. A lot of times children struggle with it because they just don't understand the vocabulary. And so giving my son the opportunity to learn the words ahead of time and then do the concepts. In this case, he is practicing greater than and less than. Yes, he understands the word great means awesome, but he had to learn that great also means bigger, especially in quantity. And less is not a very common word for a 7-year-old until they reach it in math. So we needed to practice that with some activities. If he understands the vocabulary, now he can rock and roll on the language. So number three is to take our time and give him the opportunity to explore learning thoroughly, wholeheartedly. Do you guys try that at home? Do you give your kids opportunity to learn everything thoroughly? Or are you just kind of rushing along just so they could finish activity or finish a project, finish the homework? It's okay to take your weekends and help your children to learn thoroughly. You can teach it. You do not need an expensive tutor. You do not need to dedicate weeks upon weeks to someone else to help teach it. Sometimes it's something as simple as baking a pie or riding a bike, pulling out a tape measure and spread out outside from tree to tree down your driveway. You never know. Think creatively. Use some websites if you have to, but your children can get it if you take the time to teach them. Just like breakfast, lunch tends to be a nice hot lunch. During the week, my son has a school co op he goes to, and so when he's there, he has a typical school lunch, which often is on the chilly side or cold side because they cannot heat it up. But while he's at home, he's going to have nice hot food. So I slice up my own chicken breast, dip it into an egg wash, and press it into gluten-free breadcrumbs. I can link below our favorite gluten-free breadcrumbs. I know the grocery store sells gluten-free nuggets or tenders, but this is so much cheaper because I can use 2 or 3 large breasts, which costs about $8, $5 to $8, and get a lot more than the whole entire bag from the freezer section. Sprinkle some oil on these little guys and into the oven they go. Our afternoons are full of fun. This is the time that my son reads to us, practice the book he's reading, and it's also the time for him to do all the fun subjects of science, social studies, Japanese, knitting, and eventually we'll be throwing music in there later on. It's a time for him to explore his own personal interests, Legos, and especially drawing. He loves drawing tutorials. He gets a snack. This is the time he eats cookies and fruit snacks, all the fun things kids love. If you work hard, you get to play hard, and that's our family philosophy, especially for learning. I'm heading into the kitchen, checking on dinner, which is beans and rice with ham from the farmer. And I will sit back with a cup of coffee and enjoy the rest of our day. Thank you for dropping by and learning philosophies here in our tiny home. Thanks guys. See you next week.